For us, it's like putting a big distracting frame around the Mona Lisa. And often it blurs distinctions that we make. Non-natives may pronounce this as of course, which is the way natives pronounce this. The words off and on don't have weak forms, but the possessive preposition of is usually just a tiny prefix, of course, or left out altogether. Of course it is.
Spacebot drone ship, of course, spacebot drone ship, of course I love you, of course I love you.
In fact, most of the weak forms are in contrast with strong forms that mean something else. Contrasts that are eliminated by speaking clearly. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to talk more about all the ways weak forms are used by native speakers to make meaningful distinctions. Now, for many
How about, I got one for you, off of a, off of a, off of a, off of a. That's 3 words that turn into a clitic. Off of a.
natives, it doesn't come at all naturally to transform what look like normal separate words into little prefixes. So for those non-natives who actually want to copy the native patterns, I often enlist the help of a figure who's very well known around the world. The Pink Panther has a theme tune
I'm actually
composed by the
related to
great
him.
Henry Mancini, and it uses a pattern of little unstressed notes prefixed to stressed notes or beats. The tune's similarity to the pattern weak forms make is nicely demonstrated by an internet meme about the Pink Panther's to-do list, which consists of to do,
To do,
to do,
to do,
to do,
to do, to do, to do, to do.
The tune, like most popular songs, is based simply on 4 beats, repeated like in marching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, etc. To make this into the Pink Panther theme, we remove beats 2 and 4 from the first half. 1 gap, 3 gap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then, before each of these beats, we attach a little unstressed prefix, like weak and 1 gap, and 3 gap, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. And now we can insert any weak strong pair of syllables like to do. To do, gap, to do, gap, to do, to do, to do, to do, to do.
1 to 6, 1 to 5. I think I'm belaboring the point.
And now we can insert any weak strong pair of syllables like to do. To do, gap, to do, gap, to do, to do, to do, to do, to do.
As I now invite you to do, to do, to do, to do, to do, to do, to do.
Or for you, gap, for you, gap, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you.
Ask not what your country can do for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you.
This is actually kind of really good editing.
Gap, of course, gap, of course, of course, of course, of course, of course. Compare that with this Polish speak.
Just, I gotta ask, Doctor, are you doing your own editing here, or do you have you have someone really good at it? This is really, really good stuff, by the way. Speaking as someone who does all my own stuff, which sucks, but you know, I try my best. This is really, really good.
Pronouncing of course with a strong of.
Of course, of course, of course, of course, of course.
It's not quite the same, is it? Notice how the native speaker there, like JFK, gestures on the beat. Even if someone's first language doesn't have English type stress at all, like French or Japanese, everyone can feel musical beats. I find that the Pink Panther tune shows how to pronounce any weak form connected to the beat that follows and without a beat of its own. But it can teach us even more. If we take just the second half of the tune, we have 5 weak strong pairs. Anyone who's studied English poetry knows what this is. It's called iambic pentameter.
And we're into
I don't
Shakespeare.
know whether Henry Mancini had this consciously in mind or not, but it's the basic...
The Pink
meter of
Panther
English
and
poetry.
Shakespeare.
Used most famously, of course, by William Shakespeare.
If music be the food of love, play on.
What? Wait.
English poetry knows what this is. It's called iambic pentameter. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
Shakespeare.
whether Henry Mancini had this consciously in
It's how you
mind or
speak
not,
Shakespeare.
but it's the basic meter of English poetry, used most famously, of course, by William Shakespeare.
If music be the food of love, play on.
There was an edit in there. Very subtle. It's just a quick speed up.
If music be the food of love, play.
There, where he nods his head there, that's sped up by probably a fraction. Just a little bit. It's probably that it's not perfectly in sync with the beat, so you just chopped off I'm guessing just a pause. There might have been like a dramatic pause in there, just to make it match up. But it does bring the point.
Play on.
Let's hear it again.
By William Shakespeare.
If music be the food of love, play on.
Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown.
Oh, that one matched up perfectly.
Easy lies the head that wears a crown.
Macbeth.
Poor player that struts and frets his hour up on the stage.
Oh, that matched up perfectly as well. That was crazy.
When we have shuffled off this molten coil.
Wow, okay.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
That sounds like there's a slight cut in there, a slight edit also.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
Yeah, just to match up.
And Brutus is an honorable man.
The course of true love never did run smooth.
Now, we don't know exactly how weak
Some of those
forms
are a bit of a
work in
stretch, but
Shakespeare's
yeah,
time,
we get the
but
point.
Schwa has been around in English for centuries. Now, we don't know exactly how weak forms worked in Shakespeare's time, though schwa has been around in English for centuries. What we can see is how often our weak forms show up in Shakespeare's weak syllables. The food of love that struts and frets have shuffled off, the head that wears a crown, and but soft would smell as sweet, more sinned against than sinning, and of course, to be or not to be. So when we use weak forms, when we turn these function words into mere prefixes, we're not speaking casually or rapidly or lazily, we're adapting them to the basic traditional rhythm of the language. This rhythm...
It also provides context, which we went over earlier in the video, but yeah, I agree.
...is natural in English speech. It's true that Shakespeare used archaic words, but rhythmically the language hasn't changed, and even genuine pentameter turns up by accident from time to time. This rhythm's natural in English speech. It's true that Shakespeare used archaic words, but rhythmically the language hasn't changed, and even genuine pentameter turns up by accident from time to time. Please like, subscribe and click the little bell. Anyway, if you'd like to...
Oh, that's pretty good. That was awesome, actually. I got one for you. How about this? Like water off of a duck's back. See what I did there? Like water off of a duck's back. And you can probably put some Pink Panther music to the background of that. Like water off of a duck's back.
To know how to put the accent on the right word in Shakespeare's most famous line, this is the video to watch next.
And there are much more videos to watch from his channel. Guys, I really recommend. Very, very informative. Go check out his channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed your time here and enjoyed this little reaction. We might actually go check out some of his other videos. Of course, we'll be doing more reactions in the future. And I really hope that DrGeoffLindsey did not get offended by this. Thank you very much for creating your video. It was enlightening. Again, thank you very much.
Hello, this is a message from Roof Green's Pharmacy. We're calling to inform you that your analgesic cream is ready. Goodbye.